Warriors insider Monty Poole. I am Kareth Burke. The Warriors were down by 20 points earlier. They flipped this around into an 18-point lead. Let me ask you the question, Monty. How did they do it?
You know, people are going to talk about the Lindy Waters, which is great.
Which they should.
Yeah, Kuminga off the bench, Buddy Hield getting hot. But to me, it was about attitude. When they were down 20, they could have okay, it ain't our night. But they did the exact opposite. They said, no, we're going to go after this thing, and we're going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And they forced the Pelicans into a lot of turnovers with their defense. So I'm looking at that and going, this game was won up here and down here.
Okay. Fezzi?
When you think about a game like this, Steph Curry being out, your top scorer, second leading scorer, Andrew Wiggins is out. What do you do as the rest of the team? I had a quote from my college coach. He says, when opportunity knocks, some people are in the backyard looking for four-leaf clovers. And that was not Lindy Waters. That was not Jonathan Kuminga. That was not Buddy Hield. Tonight, the bench really stepped into this game, and they took control. Offensively, defensively, that defense led to offense. At first, the game was the shots were not falling. The Warriors were getting out-rebounded in the first quarter. 17-5.
Yep.
And I don't know what Steve Kerr said after that first quarter, but everything turned around. The attitude you talked about, Monty.
Yep.
The Warriors really came out and took control of the game.
All right, Arzina Keita caught out with Jonathan Kuminga, who came off the bench tonight. Some changes for him. Here's that.
You know what a luxury it is to be able to get distractions out of your way, right? Think about this. The Jordan Poole, Draymond Green situation, that was a distraction for the Warriors. Last year, the whole up and down roller coaster with Klay Thompson, that was a distraction. For the first time, Steve Kerr in a long time has walked into an NBA season without any distractions, and a team for the vets, and guys look like they done lost themselves into the team, right? That's what you want. Again, if he want to go 13 deep and it's working for him, I'm not going to question him because I questioned Joe Mazzulla with all the threes last year and it worked for them. Here's the thing. What's my saying, Malika? Iron sharpens what?
Iron.
It's okay to have competition within the locker room. It's okay to have that, right? Long as it's good competition and it's healthy. Look, I love the way the Warriors are playing right now. Their energy is just contagious in the great way.
But Perk,
yes,
we know it's very difficult, especially when games get on the line, to be able to have a 13-man rotation to know what to expect. And while this is great now, I'm not so sure if that's going to work because maybe someone has a down game or maybe you need to give someone more minutes. To me, I love what they have done, but I'm still a little bit ambivalent. I'm like, okay, 13 guys, that's a lot to also manage.
Sure.
Well, one game. I mean, of course, regular season depth versus playoff depth, and we're still a long way from there. I just look at it, blue-collar mentality, defensive mindset, every player competing for minutes on the court. And even Jonathan Kuminga last night, he goes from starter to coming off the bench. He didn't sulk. He still plays the second most minutes among players and probably had his most efficient game last night.
I mean, this is light work for Steve Kerr for what he had to go through this summer. Think about it, right? Think about the egos that he had to deal with this summer to now he's dealing with a bunch of veteran guys that's just going to go out there.
He could have had a 13-man rotation in the Olympics.
No.
But here's where things could get interesting if you start losing some games.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, that 13-man rotation, guys are like, wait a minute, I should be out there more than the player next to me.
Buddy, going back, coming off the bench, I guess. He only
Comfort zone.
There you go. He only had 3 points in the first half. He ended with 28. What helped Buddy have a flamethrower for a hand?
I mean, everything, Kareth, everything about this offense is really ball movement, body movement. It's all about chemistry. And when that chemistry is off, you can feel it. You can see it in the offense. You can see it in the way guys jack shots up. You can see it in the way the ball stops moving. Tonight, in the second half of the game, it was immaculate. Those vibes that we keep talking about, the immaculate vibes. The ball moving got back to what it was. I think Buddy Hield, he has gotten comfortable with the crew of people that he's been playing with. There's a chemistry thing that happens with this team. When you're moving, you know exactly where the guy is going to be, so you know exactly where to hit him and how to play with him. So Buddy has a great relationship with Kevon Looney on the offensive end as well. So you can see that offense developing, especially when he comes off the bench.
It almost looked like Buddy was uncomfortable starting. You know what I mean? At the beginning of the game, he didn't look quite right. And again, if he's on the court at the beginning of the game, New Orleans is going to put most of their defense toward him because of the way he's been playing. By halftime, he comes out in the third quarter off the bench. It's a different game now, and he's back to his normal role, and he's thriving. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing you want to see from Buddy Hield because we've seen him early this season already shoot the ball like crazy, and I think I don't think he's going to shoot 50% from the three for the year, but he definitely should end up in the 40s because he's a 40% career shooter, and he's never had the space he has right now.
All right, Lindy Waters played 38 games last season when he was with OKC. He was mostly scrapping in the G League. Here is his opportunity. He just needed to be seen, right, Festus? Like, this is Mike Dunleavy Jr. saying, this guy might have something. What did you see on the court from him tonight that indicates he's got something?
Well, for one, just the preparedness, Kerr. Coming into the game, knowing exactly, being locked into what's happening on the court, knowing where you can get your shots. And every one of these shots that you see, they're all within the flow of the offense. He is moving, he's cutting, he's playing defense, getting steals, and that dunk right there. Come on, big fella. I see you out there making your presence being known. This is the point of coming off the bench. When you're on a deep team, you know that your time is going to come at some point. So guys are practicing, they're preparing in the summer, having great training camps, and sometimes your minutes might not be there, but having a great attitude is really important because in moments like this, you can come out and shine.
So as you see, the Golden State Warriors without Steph and Curry have still been able to put on a show and be able to beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, a big standout was definitely Buddy Hield, but although he was a standout in that game, what I do believe about Buddy Hield is that he is a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors, especially since losing someone like Klay Thompson. They never knew if they were going to be able to find a splash brother next to Steph, but I think they have found a great pick, and that is none other than Buddy Hield. Now, Buddy Hield has been playing absolutely fantastic so far this season. He's been putting up such great numbers, and before we get into that game against the Pelicans where he did claw them back, what I do need to mention is that so far this season he is averaging 21.3 points, 2.5 assists, and 4 rebounds. So he's been putting on an absolute show, and he's been able to do this while not only shooting 52% from the field, but he's shooting right now, guys, 56% from the three-point line. Yes, you heard that right, guys. 56%. That is honestly insane, and it is honestly fantastic to see how Buddy Hield has fit into this team. He's done not just a great job, playing with this team so far, but a big upset for a lot of people is that they weren't going to find a replacement, and they definitely have found that in Buddy Hield. Now, Hield has not only been a great player offensively, but I do believe he is a bit underrated on defense. He may not be a lockdown defender, but he can definitely hold his own, is not really a liability on defense, which has definitely been a huge plus for the Golden State Warriors. Now, before we get into that New Orleans Pelicans game, I do want to mention that against Utah, he also had 27 points while shooting 78% from the three-point line, and another game against Portland where he also shot 22 points and shot 72% from the three as well. So this puts in perspective just how great Buddy Hield is, but a big factual asset to this is due to the fact that the Golden State Warriors have so many great scoring options that it does free up a lot of the game for Buddy Hield very much easily. And I do believe Buddy is going to continue to get those same looks throughout the career. Now, we aren't going to be expecting 70, 68 point percentage type games all the time, but I do believe that when he does have the hot hand, he can get hot in a hurry, because in that New Orleans Pelicans game, he was able to shoot 64% from the three-point line. He's shooting some video game type numbers, which is insane. He also had 2 steals in that game, 1 rebound, and 1 assist, following up with 28 points. So Buddy Hield is definitely a star for this Warriors team, and especially with Steph Curry out, he has been able to do a huge boost to this Golden State Warriors team, especially when it comes to the offensive side of things. I think this was a big issue with the Golden State Warriors last season. Yes, they did have Klay Thompson and other great players, but you can definitely see that a lot of the offense was definitely surrounded by none other than Stephen Curry, very much focused on him to get him to score, and because of that, it definitely left a lot of other players open due to the fact that, everyone was just focused on that. So because of that, I do believe that Golden State Warriors do have themselves a great asset, not only just in Buddy Hield, but a quick mention of Lindy Waters as well, because Lindy Waters had himself a game in this New Orleans Pelicans game where he had 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. So he did a fantastic job for the Golden State Warriors. Now, when it comes to his play time, he definitely got a little bit of a boost, because over the last 3 games before that, he was only averaging around 4 minutes per game. So he was able to get 31 minutes, and he proved a lot of people strong, going 21 points while also shooting 43% from the three-point line and also went 62% from the field as well. So he did a fantastic job all around, and I do believe Lindy Waters can continue to provide for this team, especially if he does get the minutes that he deserves. When it comes to Lindy Waters, yes, he is a great player, but on top of anything else, what I do believe he needs out there is definitely a lot more game time in order to make that impact. And with Golden State Warriors being so stacked right now, it definitely is hard to find minutes for him, but when they do, it definitely does work out for the better. So definitely keep an eye out for these two players. There's also deanthony melton, Kyle Anderson are great additions, but when it comes to this team in general, I definitely think they are moving in the right direction. They're making the right moves. I definitely can see them going very, very far, not just during this season, but also when it comes playoff time.